Hello there, Sachikral. Welcome to Neo Trader. Three questions jumped into my mind last week. You know, we had the Indian markets going up rather nicely, and it was all well poised to continue its rally. But suddenly, some new things cropped up. First was escalation in this war in the Middle East area, US versus Iran. Now, that is again posted fresh questions. Second was this sudden return of the tariff regime from Trump. We thought that was all past us, behind us, and suddenly this fresh tariffs has come on pharma. Now, that is a question mark. Third, returning FI flows, FDI flows. Can they save our market from these global pressures? These may look like independent topics, but they are not. They are all allied and they are part of the same structure. And, finding the answers to these questions will largely determine how we see how the markets will play out across the coming weeks and more. So, stay tuned for the answer to all these questions. And that's what we are going to be looking today in Charts and Beyond episode number 39. Welcome once again to this episode. My name is Dr. C.K. Narayan from Neo Trader. And as usual, I welcome all the people who are part of our Charts and Beyond series. And I also welcome those who are here for the first time. आप पहली बार जुड़े हो चार्ट्स एंड बियॉन्ड से तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको जुड़ने के लिए. अगर आपको पुराने चार्ट्स एंड बियॉन्ड वेरियस पार्ट देखने में 38 1 to 38 देखने की दिलचस्पी होगा तो डू गो टू आवर YouTube channel and check out all the 38 episodes which are available in YouTube. All right. With that, let's go into part one. So let me share with you my screen, and on the screen you can see, as usual, our opening screen wherein I say how Charts and Beyond is constructed. It takes in all the news flow from all over the world, whatever it may be. And then this is you, okay, sitting around with various tool sets, absorbing all those new sets. Then if you go here, you start thinking about all these things. And all this culminate towards what? All this culminate towards how does it reflect in the market? And then you think about all these events cumulatively, how it thinks about how it fits into the market, and then how that's all depicted through the medium of prices. So that is where this whole thing comes in. We look at charts from whatever is happening in the beyond, and that is why this is Charts and Beyond, and this is episode number 39. Welcome once again. Let us dive right into it. And a small change. Every time we have one long episode of Charts and Beyond, so on the requests of people, I have split it into two parts. Part one will largely comprise of the beyond, okay? And part two will comprise of how they all impact into the market and what we should be doing in the market. So in today's part one, what will we be looking at? Oil spike and its impact. Oil तो एकदम जबरदस्त बढ़ गई वॉर के कारण. उससे क्या होगा उस पे ध्यान देते हैं. गुड न्यूज ऑन दी एफआई फ्रंट. एफआई फ्रंट में कोई डेवलपमेंट्स है उसको भी हम देखेंगे जिसके जरिए मार्केट्स में कोई पॉजिटिव इंपैक्ट आने की संभावना है. फार्मा, a bitter pill. Suddenly Trump Baba has stood up there and said, भाई चलो टैरिफ लगाओ. नए टैरिफ आ गए ऑन जेनरिक्स. तो इसका क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, वो भी देखते हैं. और एक म्यूचुअल फंड के बारे में एक विशेष सूचना थी, बिट ऑफ अ न्यूज विच आई थिंक is something that most people should know about. So this is going to be my coverage for part one. Do listen to all this because all of this, the details of this is going to impact how markets are going to flow ahead in the short and the medium term. And sometimes many of these things also affect the longer term. So, welcome to part one. तो ऑयल स्पाइक तो ऑयल स्पाइक में आप क्या क्या देख रहे हैं? ऑयल स्पाइक येट टू स्पार्क इन्फ्लेशन सर्ज. तो इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? ऑयल तो चल चल पड़ा. कितना चल पड़ा? ऑयल प्राइसेस स्पाइक नियरली 35% इन जुलाई. $68 का भाव हो गया था ब्रेंट. $68 से आज $96 हो गया, $96 पे आ गया. अब ये $96 पे आ गया $68 से, मतलब ये तो 35% की बढ़ा हो गई. तो दिस इज अ वेरी बिग राइज. But what is happening to the world? There is nothing. The world is relatively calm. And what is leading into this sense of calm? It is because inflation rates have eased across the world. Okay. Europe May inflation has reached 2.6%. In the US, the inflation is stable around 3.5%. That is why there have been no rate increases anywhere and all that. And in India also, the inflation rate has not really spiked very much, although we are a little more impacted about this oil price hikes and all that. But then we are talking about the global trends here. Now, today, we are shooting this. Today is 23rd of July, and I'm doing it in the afternoon of 23rd of July. And today there was a Goldman Sachs interview in the Economic Times. The Goldman Sachs guy says that sustained high oil prices would impact whatever inflations and growth prospects and all that. But his expectations, he's of course a commodity expert at Goldman Sachs. He expects the oil prices to settle down somewhere around $80 average for the rest of the year. Okay, we had dropped down to about $68 recently. Recently, matlab as recent as 1 week ago. Now, can that be repeated? Maybe, maybe not. But why is the global markets unruffled? Maybe they are waiting for a taco movement. Taco to jante hai na sab log. Trump always chickens out. And Trump always chickens out for one thing in particular जो मैंने देखा है. If history is to be, or at least the recent history is to be believed, जब भी US 10-year yield है ना ये 4.5 के अधिक होता है, then Trump starts to develop some sweat. तो ये अभी 4.5 या 4.6 तक पहुंच चुका है. So I think if that taco movement has to come, I think it should start coming around anytime now. Or kya hoga, as soon as Trump starts to chicken out, what he will do is he will stop all this war business. If he stops the war business, pulls back, then all this talk about eye for an eye, Iran wale bhi ekdam कॉलर ऊंचा करके डट के खड़े हो गए, बोले वी विल हैव एन आई फॉर एन आई. तुम एक मारोगे तो हम भी एक मारेंगे. ट्रम्प बोलता है तो तुम एक मारोगे तो हम दो मारेंगे. आई विल बॉम्ब ऑल योर पावर प्लांट. तो ईरान वहां से बोलता है कि वी विल बॉम्ब everything which wherein there is a US interest. And then Trump says, I will put some embargoes on your oil. Then Iran responds by saying that अगर हम ऑयल नहीं बेच सकते तो हम दूसरे को भी ऑयल नहीं बेचने देंगे. All kinds of confusions and complications right now in the international scenario. But markets are not really disturbed. That is the major takeaway here. हो सकता है कि आगे और भी things might get worse, but as of today, 35% gain in oil prices from 68 to $96, and the world markets are unruffled. We have had a small fall, but we'll talk about that in part two of this edition of Charts and Beyond, number 39. Right? So this is the first part that I wanted to talk with, because this is of major importance. It will have an impact across the globe. It will have an impact on India, particularly India, later on. So we should be aware of what is going on. The fact that the global markets are unruffled is something good for us. All right. Now, next part, which says FI inflows. Good news on the FI inflows. See the chart here. FPI net equity inflows in $1 million in July so far. India got $2,051 million. Decent amount of money. Thailand, etc., everybody's less. This is the best news. South Korea and Taiwan से बाहर निकल गया पैसा. अब why is this important? क्योंकि सारा रुपया साउथ कोरिया और ताइवान में जा रहा था. Everything was chasing all those semiconductor stocks and the chip stocks and the tech stocks and everything, and it would look like it looked like those trends would never happen. आपको याद हो तो चार्ट्स एंड बियॉन्ड 38 और 37 वगैरह में मैंने कवर किया था कि कोरिया का इंडेक्स जो था, it had gone up 100%. Taiwan had gone up similarly. The stocks there had gone up 200% and whatnot. So it was something like like a bubble there. तो अभी ये जो है, clearly they have withdrawn money. मतलब प्रॉफिट बुकिंग हुआ और हमने पेपर में भी पढ़ा कि भाई साउथ कोरियन इंडेक्स वगैरह नीचे की सर्किट लगी एंड ऑल दैट थिंग्स हैपेंड. सो देयर इज सम कूलिंग ऑफ देयर. अगर वहां पर कूलिंग ऑफ होता है तो पैसा कहाँ आएगा? देखिए इंडिया में पहुंच चुका 2051 2051 crores million, sorry. And that is something which is good. This is not just in FI inflows. Recovery is in FDI also. FDI में आप देखेंगे तो ड्यूरिंग अप्रैल टू मे वी वेंट फ्रॉम 2.5 to $6.5 billion. Now that's a very very decent number, right? Recent years में देखेंगे तो काफी चैलेंजिंग था फॉर FDI. Now FDI is very important. In fact, FDI is more important than FI inflow, portfolio inflow. तो आप इधर देखेंगे 2021 we had decent slight fall in 22, more pronounced fall in 23, but 24 में तो सब इंटरेस्ट चले गया और 25 में तो FDI की तो धज्जियां उड़ गई. अब वहां से चल करके ओके, वी आर नॉट हियर इन दीज big numbers of 20 through 23, but okay, 6.9 against 0.96. और लास्ट वन मंथ में अप्रैल में $1 billion में $2.5 billion to $6.5 billion. एक्सेलेंट शोइंग, वेरी गुड रिकवरी सेंस. एफपीआई में भी जो था इक्विटी और डेट, ये आप देख रहे, डेट में भी इंक्रीज है और इक्विटी में भी इंक्रीज है. इक्विटी में शार्प पुल बैक हो चुका था. Now, this has also started moving up. So, FI inflows, this is very good. This is supported by robust inflows in both FDI side and FPI side, equity inflows, and also lower repatriation by foreign investors, right? So, all of this combining to create a positive impact on our markets. That is why I said at the start, we were hoping that this flow would take us up, and ये जो 24,500 वगैरह हुआ था निफ्टी, उसके आगे जाने की उम्मीद थी, but suddenly all these other things have happened. All right, moving on. What is the next thing? Pharma, bitter pill of pharma. क्या हुआ? ट्रम्प बाबा ने उसकी छड़ी को वापस वेव कर दिया. This magic wand is good for America perhaps, but bad for all the others. क्या किया ट्रम्प ने? ट्रम्प इम्पोज न्यू टैरिफ 100% फॉर 2028 and 200% फॉर the year thereafter. The good thing about it is that it is 0% till 2028. अच्छा, तो इससे क्या होगा कि कंपनीज विच आर अमेरिका फेस, यूएस फेस, दैट मैन्युफैक्चर इन इंडिया एंड शिप टू द यूएस, उन पे थोड़ा असर तो पड़ेगा, राइट? बट देन मार्केट आप देखेंगे आज, तो आज इसके बारे में मैंने ट्वीट भी करा. जो अब मेरा ट्वीट्स के फॉलोअर्स है वो जरूर देखिएगा. आई हैव ट्वीटेड अबाउट दिस सेइंग दैट इतनी बड़ी न्यूज तो आई थी, आइडियली सम रिएक्शन शुड हैव बीन देयर, बट द फार्मा इंडेक्स टुडे फेल ओनली 0.77%, which is quite small really if you look at it. Now, 0.77% in the Nifty Pharma index, it is negligible compared to the possibility that exists. Why is the market not really bothered? इधर आप देखिए, इधर ये Pharma index की chart है. Now there is a very, very good move, you know, in the pharma index. It is trading near the highs. All right. And then if you see, these are all returns across various periods which I have put. Year to date is about 13.8%, which is a very, very decent return for a sectoral index. Now you must compare this to the Nifty. Nifty is minus 8%. So it is very, very evident that pharma has been a good performing sector in this year for our markets. And if you take a 1 year time period, it is even better. It is 15.5%. But what is more interesting is a 3 year performance of pharma, which is a solid rocking 80%. मतलब फार्मा ने तो बहुत जबरदस्त परफॉर्म किया है. 3 year, 5 year, not much to choose, 80%, 76.5%, but it tells you the story that people still believe the pharma story of India. And why is that? Because producing generics in the US, it remains very challenging for them because it is due to sustained price erosion. Okay, there intense competition hota hai US mein for this manufacture of generic, and then there are multiple dosage forms and stringent quality standards. And एक तो इतना बड़े वॉल्यूम कैपेसिटी क्रिएट करने के लिए in the US, it would take decades. It is not a matter of कि ये सब डिसाइड किया, इसने ये छड़ी बना दी और बोले 100%, 2% ये सब किया और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इन द यूएस शुरू हो गई. नहीं होगा. दिस विल टेक 5 to 10 years for them to create the manufacturing. So Indian companies don't seem to be too worried because we are supplying 43% of the generics to the US market. Now, that's a very, very sizable share of the market. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं तो चल जाएगा. देखिए अभी 28 तक तो ट्रम्प भाई साहब को तो बाय बाय करने का टाइम आ जाएगा. फिर बाद में जाने क्या होगा, ये सब टैरिफ्स का क्या होगा आगे, वो तो we'll all have to wait and see. बट ट्रम्प को तो बाय बाय हो जाएगा वहां पर 28 में. So Indian companies don't seem to be too worried. Declines, if any, may be gradual. That is what I feel, and that is why what is the market is proving today. हाँ, आज के दिन में देखेंगे तो आपको थोड़ा डॉक्टर रेड्डी में बहुत सिवियर डिक्लाइन दिखेगा, बट दैट इज स्पेसिफिक टू डॉक्टर रेड्डी. उनके जो लास्ट क्वार्टर के रिजल्ट्स है दैट डिड नॉट कम आउट वेरी वेल, सो द मार्केट इज पनिशिंग देम फॉर नॉट डूइंग वेरी वेल. नाउ निफ्टी फार्मा जो है, जिसका ये चार्ट है, इट कंसिस्ट ऑफ 20 stocks. Now these 20 stocks is a mix of US based as well as India based pharma. So this will give a balanced kind of response. ठीक है. It is if you want to see specific to US, you'll have to construct your own index. I don't think we have a specific index which says that Nifty US based pharma stocks. ऐसा आप क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, ट्रेडिंग व्यू में भी क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, तो शायद उसमें आपको गिरावट ज्यादा मिले पॉसिबली, बट यू कैन चेक इट इफ यू आर so inclined. But the long and short of what I said is minimal response to this news, which is good because when the market does not react to seeming bad news, the underlying trend should be deemed to be पॉजिटिव. ऑलराइट. सो एक्सपोजर रिस्क इधर देख लीजिए, इसी स्लाइड में है. यूएस सेल एज अ परसेंटेज ऑफ टोटल रेवेन्यू. Zydus is at 43%, Aurobindo Pharma 42%, Lupin nearly 42%, and so on and so forth, all those coming down. Alchem is more India phase, Cipla is more India phase, right? So that is why their US exposure is in the 20%. US का exposure के बिना काम नहीं चलेगा फार्मा स्टॉक्स को. तो पूरा इंडिया फेज वाला तो आपको एकदम स्मॉल स्केल में ही मिलेंगे. बड़े बड़े जो कंपनी है, दे हैव टू हैव यूएस फेसिंग एक्टिविटी फॉर देयर सर्वाइवल, फॉर देयर फ्लरिशिंग इन देयर बिजनेस. सो दिस इज द थिंग अबाउट फार्मा. अभी तक मार्केट डज नॉट सीम टू बी ओवरली कंसर्न. तो कोई ग्रेजुअल डिक्लाइन हुए एंड स्टॉक्स डिक्लाइन इनटू सपोर्ट, we should think about buying that as a buying opportunity rather than anything. Okay, let's go on to the next one. The next one I said, yeah, I do this every time some news comes up. I feel there is some news that you can use. तो अब की बार मैं ये लेके आया हूँ, ये एफआई की ओनरशिप है ये चार्ट में ऑफ इंडियन इक्विटी. आप देखिए इधर, फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम एवर, यू नो, क्या जबरदस्त इंक्रीज हुआ है. एंड वी आर नाउ होल्डिंग 76.41 लाख करोड़ ऑफ इंडियन एसेट्स. और ये पिछले बार भी मैंने कहा था कि वी आर एक्सीडिंग इट. नाउ वी हैव सम एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स फ्रॉम ऑफिशियल नंबर्स, एजिंग पास एफआई होल्डिंग्स ऑफ 76.22 करोड़. ठीक है. तो दिस इज समथिंग वेरी वेरी गुड. इनफैक्ट लाइक आई हैव सेड, इट्स क्वाइट बट remarkable milestone. It is proof that Indian investor no longer drops everything every time a foreign fund manager seizes. अरे बेचू है एफआई बेचू सब बेच डालो, वो नहीं हो रहा है, वो दिन गए. अब इंडियन स्टॉक्स, इंडियन म्यूचुअल फंड्स, इंडियन डोमेस्टिक फंड्स, powered by millions of Indians quietly setting up SIPs every month and funneling money into it month after month after month. You know, a year back it was about 19,000 crores, and today it is 31,000 crores per month and increasing. So now there is also strong inflows into debt funds and ETFs. So it's a big positive thing which is going on. And if you look at this particular chart, it is showing you fantastic trend which is happening with Indian mutual funds and holding into equities. So that's good news. And once FIs return, which I just showed you that they may be returning, this should add fillip to whatever is being done by the domestic fund. So good news for the markets. गिरने का इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, फंड फ्लो अधिक होने की संभावना है, तो मार्केट और भी चल सकता है, राइट. सो दिस इज द सीन दैट आई हैव kind of created. So all of these are what I wanted to cover in part 1. So let's see. Summary of part 1 is इंटरनेशनल न्यूज फ्लो कंटिन्यूज टू डिस्टर्ब द ट्रेंड. सो अपन एक दिन ऊपर एक दिन नीचे, 200 ऊपर जाते हैं, फिर 100-150 पॉइंट घट जाते हैं. सो दिस वॉलेटिलिटी इज मेंटेन. ऑयल हैज फ्लेड अप, जैसे मैंने कहा, $68 से $96 आ गया, 35% इंक्रीज. बट मार्केट इज नॉट डिस्टर्ब्ड येट. हो सकता है कि अभी ऑयल $100 हो जाए, 110 हो जाए, तो डेफिनेटली फर्क पड़ेगा. तो ऑयल पे ध्यान रखना ही है. दिस इज द थिंग. And then FPI, FDI investments start to look up. This is something also which is a very big positive, because it is going to add to the already existent buying force of domestic investors. Now, disturbing news: fresh tariffs on pharma. US-based companies may be impacted. Till now, they don't seem to be impacted, but track जरूर रखना है. जिसका ज़्यादा US exposure है, उस पर थोड़ा ध्यान रखे. And of course, like I said, increasing MF ownership is another positive development. So these are all the things that we covered in part 1. So thank you for joining me in part 1. And let's meet again in part 2 of Charts and Beyond, episode number 39.